What's up, guys? I'm Chris with Drift HQ.
And I'm Cricket with Drift HQ. And for all those that already watch our channel, we got you something that you wanted. It's not a BMW, it's an S14. And it's not a 2J.
It's a 408 stroker. This is Savio's old build, so we got a lot of stuff we're going to be doing to refresh the car and get them ready for Pro-Am this year. So the first process of everything is just removing everything that we are not going to be using anymore. So that includes our front sump oil pan, because we are converting it to a rear sump. We are going to put new headers in it, so we can remove the old headers, building a new exhaust system for it, changing our cross member because we are converting it to a front rack with the new WiseFab setup. Then we have a bunch of stuff in the rear we're going to be changing as well. So first thing is to plan everything out, get an idea of what it is we need to do. Then we kind of get a list together of all the parts we know we need to order, and then from there we can kind of get everything lined up and figure out our timelines, figure out what we can tackle first and what we're going to be waiting for. Good, great, grand. And we got Omar.
Hello.
So if you hear some crazy noises going on in the background, we do have some guests in the shop today.
How you doing?
My name's Clark Hatton, and I'm the driver of this 2JZ S22. And this year I'll be driving Pro Spec Formula Drift. So yeah, it's my first year in Formula Drift, coming over from Ireland. So I'm pretty excited, and just getting a couple of things done for FD, as we didn't have a lot of time back at home before the car got shipped off.
Bro, how old are you?
15.
15. And you drive. Yeah, what the heck, man? I guess you don't really need a license for the track, but you got a really sick car and a lot of what is that, quarter inch?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I have to make this flywheel shield, which we didn't realise we had to make when the car left Ireland, but we're now in America and now we have to try and figure out how we're going to get it done.
Well, I mean, we got a welder, we got a grinder, we got all the stuff over there.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Well, nice meeting you guys.
Thank you. Well, thanks.
So we have everybody working in the background, but we're going to take a look at what we need to address with this car. So this exhaust has been redone 2-3 times, and like I said, because we are moving to the forward rack relocation, our steering shaft position is changing. We had a lot of issues with these headers in the past, blowing out the centers of the collectors, cracking out some of the welds and stuff, but given they are very old, now going to the front rack, we are going to have a lot more room to run the steering shaft we want around the edge of the motor instead of running it through in between the headers, which also makes it a nightmare every time you want to remove them. So we got a little more progress towards tearing everything out, replace a few burnt wires, and we also are converting this car over to a Link ECU. So we have a Razor PDM and the G4X that's going to be going in there along with their pre-made terminated wiring harness. So I just have to build the chassis harness portion of it, but everything engine side is great. But we are going to make an attempt to convert this car to drive-by-wire, which is going to be interesting with that AccuFab throttle body. We're going to see how that plays out for us. Feels weird.
Super Mario.
You can't run. You can't hold B and turn at the same time and go fast.
You can.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay, bet. Ooh, you suck.
Dude, it's weird because I don't have like the actual button feel. It's just there.
Oh, is that what it is? All right.
That's what I'm going with.
What does that have to do with building cars?
Everything. Well, we got this stuck in our head because you turned the music off on us for
Recording purposes?
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get copyrighted for this.
And we're paying for the game, so I mean, the people are
Now
just playing
stole
with us. I don't. Well, yeah. Now we might. Thanks.
Crusty.
Oh, bye-bye. You guys asked for it, you got it. Savio's getting new headers, provided by Vibrant and your boy. So the beginning to every build, we rip everything out of the car to start from scratch. We built this car in 60 days, 4 years ago. She's been a good girl.
She's been through a lot.
She's been through a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, she got a lot of city miles on her, if you know what I mean. But Savio's had a S14 for 10 years now.
As long as he's been drifting.
As long as he's been drifting.
I built his first S14. It was an SR20. Crashed a few times. Created a tube front on it. It got a cage put in it. Then eventually it got his first LS. It was just a 5.3. Then we put a turbo on that 5.3. Then we put a 6.0 with some LS3 heads. Then we did the 408. And then that chassis just got written off because he had a really bad time in New Jersey. You can go ahead and run that clip.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good clip.
Oh, he got it! Oh my god! Oh my god, Savio.
Shout out to JD for catching that clip on the right side.
I love, you can hear
He's like, oh, that's my boss. That's my boss. My boss, I hope he's okay. Oh god.
Yeah, it was bad.
So we wouldn't let him redo it. The ride up there, he was talking about, oh, we're just gonna do a refresh, boys, and then he hit the Jersey barrier sideways, and we told him we're not fixing his car. We'll fix it for him so he can run the next day. We were able to fix it so he's able to run Club Loose, you know, for 8 hours on Sunday, and then that was it. We junked the car, we ripped everything out of it and put it into this new chassis, and they gave us 60 days to build it. So
It's funny enough, we actually got this shelf from Chris Lawrence.
Yeah.
This used to be his, and it had an RB in it, so it was a really clean shelf for the most part. Besides, there was some Bondo that was over there. We don't talk about that, and everything else came together. And now this is what we got.
We're gonna redo it.
She was lacking a few things. For one, we have this much room between the firewall and the engine, and since we're on an engine plate now, previously we were on a front sump pin, so we could only move the motor back as far as we could. So now we're on a rear sump pin because we're converting to the front rack setup. We are going to stuff this engine into the firewall.
So don't pay attention to the engine mount brackets that I already welded into the chassis, which I'm gonna have to remove and extend and bring back. Thanks, Chris.
I mean, it looks like you just put it on the other side of it and you're ready.
You think so?
Yeah,
We want to move it back at least an inch. So I'm going to end up cutting off this plate and then making a new plate an inch farther back and welding it onto
What
this
we're
bracket.
really trying to convince him to do is to take that HGK engine plate that we have on the display over there, and then we're going to get rid of the electric power steering, put a regular hydraulic pump back on it, and has the water pump delete integrated. It has the alternator mounting bracket and everything integrated. And it's this big, beautiful billet piece. But
With
we
rubber
got,
bushings.
We get to, and it has
insulators.
rubber bushings, so that
Rubber
way it
insulators.
won't hopefully shake the entire car loose like it normally does. Because this thing has that perfect harmonic tone where everything loosens on it. You can literally watch bolts
Show
back
them
out.
the oil pickup.
Oh yeah.
The harmonics of the motor,
Oh,
we
shit.
always say it breaks welds. It literally, this is from the factory.
Oh, it should have been one piece, huh?
Yeah, it should have been in one piece.
Does that still work?
I mean, it's
Kinda,
not a
it's
filter.
good.
It doesn't strain out any of the big materials, but thankfully it's a newly built motor, so it's not.
Yeah,
It's using
so
that
not
now.
good. So this is in the bottom of the pan and this was just sucking up oil. So good thing we changed that out.
Savio has aspirations of driving Pro Spec in the future. We are going with Link ECU. So our buddy Justin hooked us up with everything we needed to go. So we have our sensors that we need for it, IAT and the map sensor, because it's a naturally aspirated motor. We don't have to add a whole bunch to it. We got the G4X Extreme. He got us with the Razor PDM, and we got the Link Strata display, which is a beautiful color display. It even has
Touchscreen.
an input for a camera. You got a backup camera on your display, so you don't have to worry about backing up behind you in the pits. It's race car friendly. Love to see it. And on top of that, we also got our terminated LS harness for the G4X, which comes labeled, set up beautifully, all your injectors, coil packs, and it's also set up for either drive-by cable or drive-by-wire. It has connectors for both, so if you don't know what direction you're going, or if you're not worried about it, you don't have to specify when you're ordering the harness. It already comes with everything set up for both. So we're gonna get that laid up. We're gonna make a nice little plate to mount up our PDM and our ECU, and then we can get all that mounted up and I can start the chassis harness finally. Some of the old stuff that Savio was using on his chassis harness that we had built previously is not the most high grade, like motorsports grade wiring. This stuff's good for wiring up your radio and stuff, but stuff that carries high amperage loads for high periods of time, like your fans, your fuel pumps and things like that. We actually partnered up with WireCare, who hooks us up with all of the TechFlex Tefsel braided wiring. So if you can see the difference here, this is 16 gauge and this is 16 gauge. Giving you an idea of the quality of the wire. They have less insulation, they have a better core, less resistance per foot. So they set us up with a bunch of different wire. They set us up with all of our DR25, bulkhead connectors, Deutsch connectors, whatever you need, check them out.
When bigger's not always better.
Yeah.
Our time to shine, boys.
You made it.
Look. I have it upside down. I do have it
It's
upside
a
down.
big cardboard guy.
Can't flip it around. Flip around, turn it upside down.
That's why you always work with a spotter.
Yeah.
Is it upside down?
Yeah. You just have to untape it and retape it. Unshun, reshun. Cool story. Joel left us a camera while he went to empty Atlanta. We thought he didn't leave one, so you're gonna get some updates while he's gone.
Yeah, Craig got the column mount made for our new Link Strata display. Sweet color boy. Even has a backup camera input into it, so we might explore that option because you know when you got a firewall and stuff, it's a little hard to see.
Don't hate on our boy Savio because he's the only one in the country with this display right now. So I get a little close up for you so you guys can see it. It's not turned on or anything yet, but touch screen, it's huge. Shout out to Link ECU, our boy Justin, setting Savio up with all of the goods. So I had to make a little bracket for it. Hooks right to the aftermarket FDF steering column that we have on this, which we're going to be redoing. We're going to end up taking this shaft out and replacing it with a new one because where it was set up before, it was a rear mount instead of a front mount for the power steering unit, the rack itself. So it's a front rack versus rear rack, and we're gonna have to change the dynamic of this anyways, and it's gonna have to be a lot longer, and they give it to you 2 lengths, and you cut it down to size, and then weld whatever you need to, and then put in your joints and everything. So we're gonna have to redo that once we get our new subframe in, which comes in today with all of our sweet WazFab goodies.
Front and rear boy, we got this thing all stripped down, ready to go. So yeah, those guys.
Those
Yeah,
guys.
there's not a whole lot of anything in the front or the back of this car suspension-wise. We're sending out the axles to get rebuilt because those things have been through hell and the cups look like shit. So it's gonna make everything look real nice.
So Chris is currently working on doing the wiring harness, the chassis harness, and look at how good he makes this look.
All that just to cover it up with heat shrink. We were just talking about putting a transparent heat shrink on it just so you can still see, you know, all the beauty that ensues. But
Yeah, because you don't really get to see what goes on with wiring for your chassis, and if you actually, the right way to do it, I should say, not
yeah,
how it's done. This is the right way to do it.
I was just explaining that to Joel yesterday. So like if you put all your wires straight in a line like this, when you try to bend it, you see how the wires overlap and it creates tension on both sides. So you're gonna end up pulling wires on one side or the other. Whereas when your wires are twisted, this can bend any direction and it doesn't affect the lay of the wires and it doesn't pull any strain
Yeah,
out
it
of the
didn't bump
connectors.
out or anything, it
Yeah.
stayed.
And that's nothing but a zip tie holding. Imagine with some heat shrink on it, you know? Be pretty.
So we want to find clear heat shrink, needless to say. That way you don't hide all of Chris's sauce. He spent all this time making it look good. I watched him yesterday do all of the lines that went back to this section.
Yeah, Joel
And-
got some clips of it.
Look at how tiny this wire is. This is the new chassis harness that goes to the back. This, was this the power one?
No, that's just a power wire. I
Okay,
already took
where,
the old harness
you took
out.
the old one out? Okay. So he'll be redoing that as well. And then this was the new one from Link ECU. That's gonna go to our ECU and PDM and all that good stuff. And then we have to build a trans tunnel cap for that because, you know, that's kind of crusty. You have a cap for it. I would like to make a different one also because we moved the trans back an inch. So if I have time, we're gonna make a new trans tunnel for him and then clean up the rest of this in here.